If you ask me, the biggest names in metalcore right now have kind of ruined its reputation.
You blew it!
I'm here to fix that. These are the 2022 metalcore albums that didn't suck, and we're starting with Helpless and Caged in Gold. This UK trio kicking things off on a particularly loud and noisy note. I got into these guys with Debt in 2017, and this album continues with that same promise of chaotic mathcore-infused dissonance like the bastard child of the Dillinger Escape Plan and Converge. And maybe even with a few riffs that recall the spiraling darkness of Deathspell Omega on tracks like Focus Group Extraction. I listen to this band and I picture the audience chewing glass and spitting blood in each other's faces in the pit. And whether they're raging to the latest D-beat or slowing things down for one of these sludgier, bass-driven moments, it will fuck your shit up.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Next up, we have Underoath with Voyeurist. Voyeurist has renewed my faith in Underoath's ability to craft songs that are equal parts hard-hitting and incredibly catchy. Tracks like Damn Excuses and We're All Gonna Die get me banging my head and screaming along just like in the old days, while others like Numb also bring back their penchant for infusing electronic elements and melancholic drifting interludes. And all of that culminating in the 7+ minute conclusion Pneumonia, which is a highly stirring and ambitious composition navigating some of their softest and heaviest moments to date. It's not perfect and it still can't hold a candle to classics like They're Only Chasing Safety and Define the Great Line, but it still makes my inner 16-year-old metalcore fanboy very happy.
How do you do, fellow kids?
Then we have Inclination with Unaltered Perspective. This one was recommended to me on the grounds of for fans of Knocked Loose. And while that's a tall order, it's not an unfair comparison. Another zero-fat, no-bullshit eruption of bitter aggression and hardcore fury. And some of the pace changes are sure to put a grin on your face. I'd considered Boundaries for a slot as well, but Inclination ultimately beat it out for its increased focus and pummeling old-school mentality. Not a second wasted, and Jesus, the anger on some of these vocals is palpable.
Holy shit, I'm gonna come.
On the flip side, we have Rolo Tomassi with Where Myth Becomes Memory. Rolo Tomassi are an incredibly underrated English band started in the mid-2000s and recommended for fans of Spiritbox. Between the swelling guitars, twinkling piano, and always angelic vocals of Eva Spence, many moments will leave you adrift in a dreamscape, always perfectly counterbalanced by explosive eruptions of equally palpable aggression. And while most bands with this mix tend to keep things a good 3-to-1 ratio between harsh and clean moments, I'd say that Rolo Tomassi go for more of an even 50-50 split. A perfect yin and yang to complement one another. I'd even venture to say that in this case the melodic parts are frequently among my favorites.
Perfection.
Then we have Anna Sage with Anna Sage. I'm always on the lookout for albums with that fiery botch and converge energy, and this one absolutely delivers. Anna Sage is a mix of all the best elements of late 90s metallic hardcore and mathcore in a modern package. Ferocious, unfiltered snarls, dissonant, angular riffing, and absolutely catastrophic work on the drum kit. Every single track is a total banger and worthy of being heralded as among the best in the genre this year. So many great moments, honestly too many to highlight here, but the ending of final track The Serpents, where the recording gets more and more blown out, is a seriously satisfying conclusion to an already apocalyptic record.
With no survivors!
Next up is Grayscale Season with Do You Like Violence? This Swedish metalcore band really blew me away with 2019's Everything Hurts, quickly becoming one of my favorite albums in the genre of the last few years. Much like what I said about Rolo Tomassi, or Loathe for that matter, these guys mix it up with both typical gent tropes of their peers alongside a bit of shoegaze and even dream pop elements on tracks like Volatile, Summer, and Side Effects, which also features Cal Thorner of Viljarta. And then you've got others like Violence, which despite the ominous title is mostly just a pure piano ballad I'd compare to something like Keen or Death Cab for Cutie. Regardless, if you want some metalcore that doesn't just sound like everyone else and take some actual risks, you should definitely give it a listen, equal parts battering and ethereal.
Just do it!
Then we have 156 Silence back with Narrative. One of my favorite underground metalcore acts fusing elements of mathcore, post-hardcore, and even a little Daughters energy. As far as modern comparisons go, I might even put them alongside Loathe, with a past remembrance even incorporating some riffs and guitar and drum tones straight off of an early Deftones album. It's a frequently dark and haunting display of both blunt force trauma and atmospheric psychological warfare. And with each album, they only get better and better at offering memorable set pieces too, like the rumbling drum and bass intro of The Rodent's Race or the pulsing head bob of If Pleasure's Gone. And all the while, there's something so inherently tragic in Jack Murray's vocals, whether he is screaming his head off or sprinkling in some of that eerie mumble speak. Then a popular choice here, I would say, with Counterparts and a eulogy for those still here. If you love the glory days of 2000s metalcore before gent took over the genre, this is like the perfect love letter to that era. Maybe it's just me, but I even feel like I'm picking up on direct references, like what mirrors might reflect versus Poison the Will's My Mirror No Longer Reflects from the classic Opposite of December, whose opening track is also just a date. Regardless, this is glorious music with a perfect balance of emotion and aggression. In just 34 minutes, Counterparts bring the best riffs and scream-along moments without an ounce of filler, the entire time transporting me back to days in high school listening to Shai Hulud, Underoath, and Unearth.
Which was the style at the time?
Getting a little crazy again, we have Without Waves and Comedian. This Chicago band defies concise genre labeling, traversing a wide variety of influences that include the Dillinger Escape Plan, Gojira, Devin Townsend, and Porcupine Tree. Opening track Good Grief alone runs quite the stylistic gauntlet over its relatively brief runtime. We're talking Mike Patton vocals on the intro, chaotic fusions of prog and mathcore riffs and drumming, blackened tremolos against pop-influenced singing, electronic effects, and big, chunky outros. But each track has its own distinct personality, from ragers like Algorithm to more progressive, expansive content like Set and Setting, or the vaguely opethy Do What Scares You and Slight and Shadows. Sleep Deep even sounds like a weird cross between Deftones and Tears for Fears. Not only one of my favorite metalcore albums this year, but just one of the most interesting and engaging albums overall.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Next is Greyhaven with This Bright and Beautiful World. This is a very special entry into Greyhaven's discography, perfectly folding new influences into their heavy roots for a record that feels entirely fresh and unique. There's total rippers like Foreign Anchor, softer rock moments like Candy, and then seriously catchy stuff somewhere in between like A Painful and Necessary Action, which for the life of me, with that chorus, I can't understand who decided to not make this a single. The songwriting had me thinking once again about Every Time I Die, but also everything from These Arms Are Snakes and later Poison the Well to the Dillinger Escape Plan and Greg Puciato's solo work. And all of these emotional and stylistic ups and downs covered in a lean 34-minute runtime with the help of production from the prolific Will Putney. And then my number one favorite metalcore album of the year easily goes to the Callous Daoboys and Celebrity Therapist. The Callous Daoboys are the best and most important band in the mathcore scene today, period. Not only do they continue to bring the intensity with the insane guitar work and chaotic pace changes, even more so than last time, the songwriting is constantly keeping me on my toes. It's clear that aside from being influenced by the obvious likes of, again, the Dillinger Escape Plan, Every Time I Die, and the number 12 Looks Like You, there are also moments on this album that make me think of everything from Brand New and Say Anything to My Chemical Romance. I really hope more metalcore bands can abandon the endlessly beaten dead horse that is gent right now and return this genre to new heights of creative glory. Y'all check out this playlist for plenty more metalcore related videos, and let me know down in the comments what were your favorite albums in this genre this year that even non-metalcore fans can enjoy. But that'll do it for now. Flight of Icarus signing off. I will see you in the trenches.